in this factory,
Yeah.
and this is for low density polymerization,
Yeah.
and developed new mechanism. Later, I was engaged in one polypropylene factory in Serbia also. Again, commissioning, startup, erection of the plant. And always I read the theoretical articles and everything. And also I noticed that this theoretical explanation of this process is not correct. And I developed a new explanation and many articles and published many papers and articles about this. After that, I was engaged in a third factory, high density polyethylene, and the same story is again. Also, I see that theoretical explanation was not good, and give another theory and publish many articles and about that. So I do not separate it. Practice, engineering practice, theoretical scientific explanation, and philosophical approach. Because all those three things for me is one unity. Because if you have good theory,
Yeah.
and your good theory will develop by including the philosophic aspect of the process, and you have good theory, then you will be good in practice. Because it was told by Immanuel Kant. The most practical thing is good theory. That's all.
Okay.
You record this? Is
I put that on since you were going on to that, yes.
okay.
We just edit it when you, whatever.
So there is a Tesla thought.
Do you want to go on to Tesla?
Yes, I can only tell you what is my research.
You found the connection, that there wasn't really that much connection to Boscovich when you've looked into it.
There are several things, there are several, how to say, opinions in literature, in journals, in media, that there is influence of Boscovich on Tesla. Two aspects are more mentioned. One, there is one photo, picture of Tesla, made at 1890, I don't know at the moment exactly, but this is last years of 19th centuries. There is a Tesla sitting in a chair and with some book in his hand, and there is some electrical coil behind him and some lightning there and so. And it was explained that Tesla is sitting and reading Theory of Natural Philosophy of Ruđer Bošković. The second, and there are two of these pictures, quite different pictures, taken by different photographers in different times. Also, there is one unpublished interview of Bošković with some, how to say, new man who is working in newspaper, I don't know. Yes, I mean, but not published.
Yeah.
And in this unpublished interview, it was stated that in this published interview, Tesla told that theory of relativity originated from Bošković, but not exactly exclusively by Einstein. So, I analyzed both sources, how to say, these photos and this newspaper information. Concerning newspaper information, nothing was published. There is no reference to show, because some men speak with Tesla and there is no records, written records. So maybe these records exist, but nobody can refer to it. Concerning photos, those conclusion that Tesla had Bošković theory, books of Bošković theory in his hand, originated from the Museum of Nikola Tesla. A woman who made this conclusion was, surname was Šešić. I have forgotten her name, and she was the daughter of those Professor Bogdan Šešić I just mentioned before, who informed me about Bošković theory. So, but those women made one study about all photos of Nikola Tesla. And in this study, she wrote what is the study, where it is done, who made these photos. And for all those photos, there may be 50 or 60 photos analyzed. And one of them is the photos with Tesla and the book. And she wrote that Tesla had Boscovich book in his hand, but there is no reference. For other photos, there are reference. Here is only reference that in what time those photos. These photos was made. I told just before the end of 19th century. When I was in a museum, I found that there is a Boscovich theory in this museum. This is edition, English edition, or it is a bilingual English-Latin edition, published in 1922. So this book, that book was published some 20 or 25 years after those photos. So it is not possible for Tesla to have this book in his hand. In any case, I wanted to see if there is some comments of Tesla, because Tesla was alive until 1943. Maybe he had this book, and this book is from Tesla personal library. For Tesla personal library. So he had this book many years later, but maybe he made some comments, maybe he underlined something in this book. So it was permitted to me to look page by page. So I went to the whole books, but there was no comment, no underline, and it even looks to me that those book was not open at all. Because but I'm not sure. But there was no sign. So concerning this aspect, Tesla was not involved in theory. Furthermore, there are in our language, English language, published, I think, by Serbian Academy of Science or some other publisher, not important, articles of Tesla, and also published lectures. He had many lectures in different societies in the United States and in other places. And I have read all of these lectures and articles. I am not so familiar with Tesla research. I am not an electrical engineer, but I am very well informed about the Boscovich theory. And then I tried reading those Tesla's articles and lectures, printed lectures. I have tried to find traces of Boscovich comprehensions. I have tried to find those traces, to find some, to recognize Boscovich in the sentences of Tesla. But believe me, it was not possible to find nothing. So I am not sure that there is some influence of Boscovich on Tesla. Or I did not find.
But Tesla, could you have read Boscovich in Latin?
Tesla, but as I know, Tesla knew the Latin language, and he can read the theory. This book maybe not on this photo, but some other. But also in a time of Tesla, this is end of 19th and first half of 20th century, there was many other books written in English and everywhere in other, in which in that book the Boscovich theory was explained. For example, Britannic Encyclopedia. At the moment I don't know how many pages I have data, but a lot of pages was covered by Boscovich theory. So for Tesla there was no problem to be introduced this theory. But I cannot find that he wrote something about that.
Yeah, the earlier editions of the Encyclopedia Britannica had a lot about Boscovich, but the more recent ones, more modern ones, they sort of like...
They decrease, and there is still, but very shortly explained the theory of Boscovich.
So Tesla probably could know about quite a lot about Boscovich. It's just you haven't found the connection in any of the writings between him about what he thought about Boscovich. Really, we've only got these strange photographs and the unpublished article. We haven't really got anything definitive. Is that what you're saying?
Also, sorry about that, but also I wrote that there is a Tesla Society in United States. I sent email for this society asking to help me concerning these photos of Tesla and Boscovich, but no answer. So I have tried that thing, but at the moment I cannot tell that it is true.
And also you tried to access, there's some written records about Tesla's theories about gravity.
I know that Tesla developed some new theory of gravity. That was in, I don't know what age, but that was in the 20th century when he was so much active in electricity, and he wrote or prepared to write this. I contacted a Tesla museum because all belongings of the Tesla, personal and technical, scientific, are there, this museum. If they have such a manuscript of Tesla, I am not sure what is the answer. Because they tell me, yes, we have, but when I ask to see, not possible to see, or there is not to see. So I cannot tell. I can tell only what I see, what I saw, what I see. So maybe there is, but I didn't see that.
So why weren't you allowed to see?
I would like to see, but I didn't see. So I cannot believe the people that they say, oh, we have, show me. Oh, no.
So why weren't you allowed to see? Do you got any idea why you weren't allowed to see what Tesla had written?
Why they did maybe I am not a man who is dealing with Tesla. My professional activity is quite different. I'm chemical engineer. I am familiar with Boscovich, something else, and I'm not a respectable man for Tesla. So I can also understand the people from the museum. That maybe some other people will be able to see that.
Also the possibility that maybe there's nothing there. Is it?
I cannot tell.
You can't tell.
You should just guess.
Yeah.
I'm a scientist.
Yeah.
If I can guess, maybe there is, maybe not. I didn't see.
There may not be any records. They didn't give you access because there was
in any case, I know it is well known.
Yeah.
Not only there are a lot of how to say papers and documents that belongs to Tesla.
Yeah.
Belong to the Tesla, but still not elaborated. There are a lot.
You able to say where exactly it was? These?
This is a museum.
Which museum? Tesla museum.
Tesla museum in Belgrade. There are a lot of documents, but still not elaborated by.
And if they've got more records of Tesla, they're not actually letting everybody see them, sort of thing.
What is in these documents? I don't know. You can guess. Just guess.
So they may or may not exist, basically. So it's basically a great deal of mystery still about Tesla.
Tesla always was a mysterious man.
Mysterious, yeah.
Yes, and and he wanted to be mysterious, and he was magic man. That's true.
But somebody's keeping the mystery going on.
And he was a man who to make show.
Yeah,
See, all his presentation and lectures
yeah.
was show.
Mm-hmm.
All, everything show.
Okay.
But this is the way how he want to attract the attention of the people.
Mm-hmm.
But he was indeed magic man. That's true.
Magic man. Magic man.
Magic man. Yes.
Yeah, he did things like having
yes.
lightning.
Yes, and the title of these photos,
Yeah,
where Boscovich had some book in his hand,
yeah.
is the magic man.
Magic man. So some sort of
Because he was sitting in his chair,
Yeah.
there is a big electrical coil, huge one, several meters high,
Yeah,
and there is a lot of lighting around him,
yeah,
electrical lighting.
yeah.
So it is magic man.
Now, I think you told me that you weren't really sure that the book he had in his hand was Boscovich's book.
I cannot believe it's Boscovich's book because book that he had in his library was published many years later.
Yeah,
But those books he had in his hand is very long, very long, and there are some patterns on the back side. So it is necessary to recognize what is that book. Size and patterns can show something. Maybe those original edition of Boscovich's theory. First edition was published in Vienna, in Austria. Second is in Venice. Now it is in Italy, and there are some other editions. So it should be found how this original books looks like. To compare that patterns on the backside of the book, and maybe it can be recognized. You know, the book is very long, and those edition English version is also very long. It is about 40 centimeters long book. I have the exact measure. I took a measure. So physically it may be, but this book was printed 35 years after the photos was made.
yes. So there's a great deal of mystery in the photographs, and from a rational point of view, we don't really understand what's going on. Have you heard about these sort of very weird stories that Tesla might have been a time traveller? Do you think anything like that's possible?
This is not my field of research, and there are a lot of speculations about that.
So if he was a time traveller, then he managed to go to the future and bring the book back.
See, for example, there are various types of the societies, in my country, and all of them, most of them, invoke Tesla.
Yeah.
Tesla said, Tesla wrote, because I had those articles and published articles in lectures. Okay, show me where it is.
Yeah.
Show me. I would like to see. I'm really happy to find, but show me. But nobody was a test. The secret weapon, travel in time, his, how to say in English, avatar, sent by God here, and so on. Okay.
But based on rational reasoning, from what we know, time travel into the past isn't possible, and what we've got is photographs that don't seem to make any sense.
Okay, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that, but I always try to show me, prove me, give me, and then I will believe. Why not?
We don't know what's going on. Tesla was a great mystery.
But a great mystery.
Yeah.
Tesla did a lot of job.
Yeah.
For sure. It is known what he discovered, what he made, and it is not necessary to make mystery about them and to add him something unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable, yeah.
Yes, it's not necessary.
Yeah. Okay.
So what we
You pass on then, because that...
Tesla to them.
Yeah.
Why Boscovich overlooked. The question, but the problem is, or the question is, Boscovich was a very well-known scientist in 18th century.
Yes.
He was member of many academies of science in Paris, academic, I don't know the name, then in the Royal Society of London, then in Petrograd, Russian Academy, in Bologna, in Poland, and that I don't know exactly, so very well known. And his theories and articles and everything was known at that time. Time passed, and now nobody, not nobody, but only a few people know about the Boscovich. That's true. And the question is why. According to my opinion, there are several reasons. And one of them, first of all, in his time, that's middle, whole, in second part of 18th century, in some sense, he was far ahead of his time. But also in some sense he was back, how to say, not ahead but opposite, back of his side.
Ahead and behind time.
And behind of his time.
Yeah.
What behind? First, he presented all his theory by some old-fashioned method in that time. Because in that time the mathematics were highly developed.
Not highly developed, you mean?
Yes, highly. Or differential equation,
Yeah,
integral relation. This is time of D'Alembert, Laplace, Lagrange.
Yeah.
So they are mathematics. Because the differential mathematics were developed by Leibniz and Newton some 7 decades before. But Boscovich was not familiar. He was familiar, and he knows some elementary knowledge. He has some elementary knowledge about this mathematics. But he was not. That was not close to him. All his theory he proved by geometry.
Geometry. Yeah.
Geometry.
Yeah.
So and he taught him his
Geometric price.
geometric man.
Yeah.
Because also Newton did the same way, but Boscovich did. But in that time, you see, that Bernoulli made differential equation for the fluid flow. And Boscovich made some drawings. With Boscovich presentation, you cannot calculate nothing. Just imagine how something. So in that sense, he was behind of his time. He knows that. He wrote that I'm too old to start to learn this mathematics. It should be started. He wrote it should be started as a young, but I'm too old, so I present it this way. That's considering method of presentation. But in other sense, his comprehensions were far, far ahead of his time. Nobel Prize laureate Leon Lederman wrote in his well-known book, The God's Particle, published recently, in 1933, I think, quite recently. He wrote that Boscovich had some very stupid idea for 18th century. Sorry, 17th century. He was in 17th century, Boscovich.
18th, wasn't it?
17th.
18th.
18th. Sorry,
18th century, yeah.
sorry, mistakes. 18th century.
Yeah.
He had a very foolish idea, stupid idea for this century, 18th, and maybe for even any other centuries. Because he believed, Boscovich, that elementary particles of matter are small like points, like dots, without any dimension. But Leon Lederman continued, but recently we have found such particles and we named quarks. So Boscovich points, Leon Lederman designated as quarks. And at the end of this book, Leon Lederman make one table, the most important scientists and physicists in the history, starting for all Greeks and so, and giving some marks. And one of the two people have the highest mark. One is Greek philosopher Democritus, but it's not the highest, but highest among the other, but not maximum mark. And next is Boscovich. And he concluded that Boscovich's theory is the key for the entire modern physics. Very important conclusion given by Nobel Prize laureate Lederman, given, I say yesterday, 20 years ago, but this is yesterday.
Modern times.
Modern time. And concerning the modern times, say modern times, 20th century scientists, like Niels Bohr, Einstein, etc., he also put the mark for them. And this is lower mark than Boscovich and Democritus, and explained they didn't finish the job. And they obtained lower mark.
Yeah.
That's the reason. That's some reasons. Because Boscovich idea is in front of his time, is already in front.
So
But
can we summarise it that Boscovich may be said to be ahead in the physics side of things, but he was lagging behind in the mathematics? He was still using...
in physics and...
Yeah.
In physics, in philosophy, this is philosophy.
Yeah, in philosophy.
He is philosophy. You should consider this is theory of nature.
Yeah.
His book is Theory of Natural Philosophy, reduced at one unique law of the forces existing in the nature. So, theory of natural philosophy.
So
He is not physics.
So theoretical physics, he had a big sort of
Yes.
understanding, and it was sort of like the mathematics. He was still using the old geometric approach which Newton was using.
Yes, but
and then more modern, those other mathematicians, they were sort of like actually developing the calculus thing. So,
but not only. Also, there is some other philosophers and thinkers that put Boscovich ahead of his time. For example, Friedrich Nietzsche.
yeah.
And one is Frenchman, I have forgotten his name. He wrote that the Boscovich theory is theory of the 21st century. I know this name, but I cannot but my at the moment. And what is most important in my research, we have found Boscovich is well known for this curve, oscillating curve, that represents the change of the force with interaction between two particles. And this is one oscillating curve like this. And Boscovich, and this curve was published first time by Boscovich in the middle of 18th century. But modern science proved a lot of evidences that such curve, this is that curve, this is that type of a curve, and in modern science you can find a lot of examples of this curve. For example, for the interaction between nucleons, interaction between macromolecules, or let's see, there are also between atoms, the same curve. So there are a lot of examples of such curve. In this book I published recently and translated in English by Mr. Roger Anderton, there are a lot of examples. But also such examples exist and are mentioned, and not presented, but mentioned in this book also. That's very important. So there's some of the reasons why he is overlooked, but maybe there are also some other reasons that belongs to the other aspects of the history of science. One of the reasons is that Boscovich was very well-known scientist in the 18th and 19th century. And there are many followers of his theories. For example, Faraday, Maxwell, Lorentz, Davy, Fener, Niels Bohr, Heisenberg, and many others. Those people developed modern science. But this development was very fast, particularly in the first and second decade of 20th century. There was a big progress of the science. A lot of information, a lot of data, a lot of experiments, a lot of, how to say,
information overload?
Information, but also, how to say, trials and errors.
Sorry?
Trials and errors. Positive results and negative results.
Yeah.
And it was decide, oh, it's true, not true, how to say, check this, this, oh, it is okay, this is not okay.
Yeah.
Some concepts were built, then developed, and then destroyed. Okay, it is wrong.
It's like the,
and there are a lot of data, so there was no time to...
So like they had a model of the chemical atom as a pudding, and then they thought, oh, that's not quite right, and then they sort of like came up with various...
They improved everything.
So they were still working these out.
But it's such a huge progress of the science. Several generations of scientists were included in this, which is overlooked. And when you, for example, in the education system, when one professor has to present history of some idea or development to the students, he should use some short path. If he should mention all details, it will take a lot of time. And because this, and this result. So the main points are mentioned. So for that reason, Boscovich is frequently overlooked, although in some cases he should be mentioned. He was on the mainstream.
It's strange though that he should be at least briefly mentioned.
At least.
And they don't even briefly mention him most of the time.
The second reason also may be important, I don't know, is the origin of Boscovich and the country. He was origin from Dubrovnik. In that time, that was in the independent republic. Now Dubrovnik is in Croatia. But Dubrovnik origin, whether it is Serb or Croats, I will not discuss now, but from father's side. From mother's side, he was Italian. But nobody has Italian never forced him as his most important scientist. For Italian people, that's Galvani, Galileo, Ampere. They had Boscovich. Even Boscovich didn't like to name him as Italian. I'm a man from Dubrovnik. Understand?
So at the boundaries of the country where...
See, even in the science there is competition between countries. Science is, how to say, for science there is no borders, there are no states.
Yeah.
It is not. Yes, there is no, but there is. Because German nation normally favorize their scientists. Russian their, America their, English their, French their. But there is nobody who will, except Croatia, Serbia, but we are small countries, not so, we have not such much influence to force Boscovich.
Yeah, so is the boundaries of the country from where Tesla came from sort of kept changing, so you sort of get this problem of how do you define him? Was he Italian or was he whatever else? Yeah.
That's the...
Yeah.
But how to say, if somebody is very well known, like Tesla or something, then everyone wants to tell, oh, he's our.
Yeah.
But if it is, Tesla became famous, and in his time it is now.
He became famous in America, Tesla. Yeah.
Yes, but somehow for Boscovich he was forgotten, and nobody. But I feel that Boscovich time starts to, how to say it,
Yeah.
to revive. Here he appears. But we shall see.
So basically, you've found that you can use his theory in the chemical industry, and so it still has lots of applications.
This is, to be honest, I applied Tesla and the other, this story about attraction
You mean
repulsion.
Boscovich, not?
No, Boscovich, I applied this concept very
Yeah.
in not in the industry. It's not possible that to. In my case, I directly apply Boscovich,
Yeah.
mining industry, but comprehensions. But what is a Tesla theory is not physics like to give you solution of some problem, but Tesla theory, not Tesla, Boscovich theory.
We were talking about Boscovich.
Boscovich theory is. We speak about Tesla, Boscovich are mixed.
You got me, sorry.
So Boscovich theory
Yeah.
just give you an idea
Yeah.
how to analyze some phenomena, some problem.
Yeah.
He directed you in what direction to go.
Yeah.
And once you have this direction, you should apply modern science method and find solution. But it is very important if you have this foundation in what direction to go.
Yeah.
And in that sense, me and my colleagues applied Boscovich theory, and we know the actions, and we know the actions. That's only, not say only technical question, but it is quite, for me that was quite easy to find solution, believe me, quite easy.
Yeah.
With, sometimes it comes like this. Oh yes, that's clear.
Okay.
Believe me.
Okay.
And this, concerning the influence of Tesla on Tesla Boscovich, but it is also interesting question the relation of Einstein and Tesla.
Yeah.
But this is the field more. You are more familiar with that field than me. I think I have you and I have in mind Mr. Roger Anderton because we are talking now together.
I've looked into any connections, and it's still a big mystery. Tesla is, as we've said earlier, he's a man of mystery. He's magic, and it's sort of it's how to connect things. We can't connect the dots, and so it's still mysterious.
But what's in the relation between Boscovich and Einstein?
Yeah.
Because there is some maybe that Einstein idea also originated from Boscovich idea. Although there is not a direct connection, it is written and presented somewhere, but conceptually there is interesting. Also, it is not.
One of the problems with Einstein
Yes.
is I read his papers, and his famous paper in 1905 where he states what becomes his theory of relativity, special theory of relativity, and he doesn't give any references as to what he's working from. So if he's working from Boscovich when he's doing that paper, he's not citing it. It's a mystery. Where does this theory come from Einstein? So it's sort of like more mystery from Einstein. You've got mystery from Tesla, and now we've got mystery from Einstein.
Maybe Einstein was not directly involved in Boscovich theory. Maybe not directly, but maybe indirectly. See, one possibility maybe should be taken his wife into account. Wife of Einstein was Mileva Maric, born here in Novi Sad, Serbian origin as Boscovich partly was. Maybe that she was, I mentioned his wife, but she was also very educated woman, highly educated in mathematics, in physics. She collaborated with Einstein in that period. And maybe she informed about Boscovich theory, Einstein.
She may have told, ideally, she should have known about Boscovich's theory, but when you try, I've looked in the records and it's difficult to say how much of connection there is in her collaboration with her husband Einstein. It's very difficult. I don't know, there's more records being disclosed all the time, but when I looked it was difficult to actually find out how much of the connection there is from Einstein's wife with the creation of Einstein's special theory of relativity. It's a very a mysterious area once again.
Again,
Yeah.
only we can guess,
Yeah.
but nothing we can conclude. There is, okay, there are a lot of story about Einstein and his wife, but I think it's not time to discuss about that.
You might find out more in the future, but
Concerning, maybe it's also necessary to mention the other applications and importance of Boscovich theory. He had a lot of contribution. First of all, his contribution in the structure of matter and interaction between particles. That's basic on his theory in this diagram. But also there is his contribution to many other sciences and also to many other engineering jobs in fields. He was known well as astronomer. He built this astronomic laboratory in Milano, in Brera, and he was founder and manager of this laboratory. And this laboratory is not observatory, and this observatory astronomic still exists in Milano. I was there several times. Also, he developed some method, original method, to calculate, to determine the path of the sky bodies, comets, planets, and a very simple method with several, just 2 or 3, measurements. He was also a man who develops spherical trigonometry very well. Then he was maybe the first man who concluded that that a new body appearing at the end of the 18th century, that is a planet, because the scientists believe that is comet, but he calculated path of this. This is planet. This is Uran.
Uranus.
Uranus. Yes.
Other
field. Where is the Boscovich first?
Yeah.
He was the first, as I know, and the others knows, who tried to establish the error of measurements and to make a regressional analysis of his measurement, developed original method. Later, Gauss advanced his method, maybe Boscovich's method is still better. But later it was applied by other scientists, but he's the first man who did that. Also, he was the first man who applied statical mechanical analysis in civil engineering, because before him nobody did that. Those analyses correctly can be performed after Newton's theory. That was second part of 17th century. All the buildings and civil works were made without this calculation not possible, because concept of force and mass, which is important for these calculations, those concepts was developed for the first time by Newton. And Boscovich first applied this to improve the St. Peter Cathedral in Rome, to repair the National Library in Wien and other places. So that's, I think, I think that's about him we can speak hours and hours.
And his theory still has modern applications, basically, Boscovich. And with more modern mathematical techniques, you can get more from it. And basically, people like Niels Bohr and Heisenberg at the early time of the 20th century, what they knew was Boscovich's theory, because that was before them, and then suddenly you had major events like World War II, and after World War II they decided to just concentrate more upon quantum mechanics and stuff like relativity, which is coming from Einstein and the others, and they sort of like, then in the education system, jumped from Newton to the more modern stuff, missing out Boscovich. When really they should at least briefly mention Boscovich.
Yes, but recently I had those meeting and I had a lecture there. And what I tell to in discussion part of lecture, suppose there is no Boscovich, forget it. No. Then take results from modern science. And you will just, I will show you, just so, for example. Modern science. This is written in some 50 years ago. This is written this is interaction between two atoms, chemical. This is interaction also between two atoms, but physical interaction. There are points are experimental data and solid lines are theoretical mathematical data. Also very modern science. So we see those graphs furthermore. This is also from the modern science. This is interaction of atoms in liquids, Russian authors. Book is published maybe 10-20 years ago. This is also interaction, this is interaction between molecules. This is interaction between nanoparticles, published in 2006 year, so 9 years ago. This is interaction between macromolecules. This is called particles. This is modern science. So even there is no Boscovich at all, every modern scientist should conclude it that interaction between particles can be presented on such way.
What the curve?
Say it like this or like this or like this. I have about 6 examples. So this is, and what is this? This is Boscovich curve. So it is, Boscovich curve is completely confirmed by modern science. And even if you don't like to read Boscovich theory, but you cannot be blind to not to see all those examples. But if you know that there is a theory at the very beginning, this is strong support for all this story.
Yeah. So that's where Boscovich was ahead of his time. He was able to work out the curves that they would now be measuring from experiments would be fitting into what he drew. Yeah. And even though the mathematical techniques he was using at the time were not as advanced, he had the basic ideas.
This question, what does mean ahead of his time? But today I have read in some newspaper, not important what, that maybe just in England, the data, that only 17% of the older people knows mathematics what is learned in primary school. So children in primary school learn some mathematics, have been taught. So those mathematics was tested to the older people. And only 70% was on this level this pupil. So ask, go on the street and ask people about the theorem of Pythagoras. How many people you know
I know a little bit about the mathematics education system in England, and the type of mathematics they teach pupils that are under 15. They've sort of changed it with the new computer age. As sort of
Okay, ask on the city people what is the capital city of Italy.
yeah.
I am sure that 50% of them will not know. Even more.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, is it
What's
true?
the capital? What's the capital?
Of Italy.
Yeah.
Ah, very simple question. I will give maybe, okay, we want to record, but not necessary. I was in the United States some 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And while I was in a hotel, there was some quiz. I think a millionaire. And one woman was the quiz. And there are several questions asked to them. First question was, who is older? Charles Bronson, Frank Sinatra, or I don't know, what was the third person? And she knows. Immediately she gave the answer and earned $1,000.
Yeah.
The second question was, she is American,
Yeah.
what river flow out from the those big, how to say, yes, big lakes? What river? No. What river, yes.
Yeah.
And this also Hudson, I think Mississippi or Rio Pecos, I don't know. And she, I think that's Hudson, but I have forgotten. But she didn't know answer. But she's American.
Yeah.
It's a fundamental question. What river is going out? But the man who was there tried to answer, maybe you will guess, and so, and finally she guessed.
Yeah.
And earned $5,000. And next, third question. Look at this question. Third question. What people is living on the ice? Eskimos, Arabs, or Sherpas? Living on the ice. And she know that she didn't know and stopped, no answer, not to lose the money. So on the ice, so Eskimos, Sherpas, or Arabs. See, the same question later I put to the children in my country.
Yeah.
Children aged 9, 10 years, 11 years. And all of them knew the answer. Oh, Arabs, it's in the desert, Shepherds, I don't know, but Eskimos live there on the ice. They knew. That woman thought she is clever, she is educated, she entered in the quiz. So we are talking, what is ahead of his time? How to explain to ordinary people? When elementary knowledge, elementary information is out of their mind. But who is older, Sinatra or Charles Bronson or I don't know that person? She like this, she the answer, no problem. But what people lives in on the ice? Oh, that's a very difficult question.
I'm too used to trick questions though. You kind of like the obvious answer usually turns out to be wrong. Okay.
Okay. I think we went to all. Is it okay?
Okay.
Stop to record?
Stop.